Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan wars have experienced more days in combat, more tours of duty, and fortunately have survived physical injuries never imagined in previous years. Unfortunately, a sad consequence have been veterans suffering from extreme economic and social hardships, and in far too many cases resulting in homelessness. Members, the least we can do is keep our promise to our veterans. What is at risk is funding for new HUD Veteran Affairs Supportive Housing Services. This program is specifically designed to help homeless veterans secure safe and permanent housing, secure counseling, and help finding job training and education programs. The Veteran Housing Program has provided homes to 30,000 veterans sleeping on the streets over the last 3 years. This is key to ending homelessness. Chairman Ryan's mark for 2012 continues the elimination of $75 million in funding for housing and supportive services for homeless vets. The Chair's mark also fails to provide the President's request level for Function 700 for 2013 and 2021, the out years, providing $18.8 billion less over this period, even as the number of veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan in need of health care grows. It is a disgrace that veterans who have honorably served to defend our freedom are living on the streets. If we do not adequately fund health care for veterans, we dishonor their service. For just 5% of the cost of extending tax cuts for millionaires, we could restore the cuts to homeless veteran programs and veterans' health care funding. Members, I would like to share a story with you. John is an Army veteran from my district. After serving his country honorably in Afghanistan, John returned to LA with severe PTSD. As he tried to cope with life back home, he slipped into a spiral of self-destructive behavior that destroyed his chances for employment. He finally sought help at New Directions, a nonprofit that works with veterans. After years of hard work and help from New Directions, John now has steady employment at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. However, he is only able to afford his studio apartment because of support from the Veterans Housing Program. Los Angeles is home to more returning vets than anywhere else in the nation. In my district, we receive tens of thousands of Johns and Janes who come home every month, and the Veterans Assistance Program allows veterans the freedom to put their lives together after facing the horrors of war. After all we ask people like John to sacrifice for us when they go overseas, we cannot in good conscience turn our backs on them when they return home. Veterans have sacrificed so much that we live free, and we must make good on our promise to take care of them when they return home. The chart that you see up there lists, it's just an example of 4 members in their districts and the number of resources that are offered in their districts. I now yield 1.5 minutes to my friend and co-sponsor of my amendment, Representative Betty McCullough from Minnesota.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I do support Congresswoman Bass's amendment to honor our nation's servicemen and women by restoring funding for homeless veterans programs. In February, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Housing and Urban Development released its first ever joint report on the homelessness of veterans. And as Congresswoman Bass pointed out, that report and its discovery was disturbing, to say the least. Veterans make up only 10% of the population. I don't think we can say that enough. 10% of the population are veterans. They account for 16% of homeless adults. Now, I commend President Obama and the goal he set for our country of eliminating the problem of homeless veterans by 2015. It's an ambitious goal, but it's one we must do. We have an honor to serve those who served our country. We have an ability to make sure that no veteran is without adequate shelter. Mr. Chair, there are more women veterans that are starting to become homeless. We need to reach out to them. And I encourage members to go to a stand-down and talk with the homeless veterans population. They're looking for an opportunity to come out of the cold. I encourage my members to support this.
Yield back the balance of my time.
Generally, yield back her time.